5 days ago, leading into this interview with Huckabee, Tucker did another interview with a Dr. Abraham. He's a Palestinian American born in Bethlehem. Now, this video is called, and I want to read this, Israel's Purging of Christians from the Holy Land and the Plot to Keep Americans from Noticing. Is Israel purging Christians from the Holy Land?
I really hope that some people watching who might be listening to Tucker Carlson hear this exact thing I'm about to say. Tucker Carlson, again, brilliantly evil, lying blatantly to the American people, to Christians, to turn on Israel and the Jewish people. I live right next door to Bethlehem. I used to drive through Bethlehem peacefully before the Oslo peace process in the 1990s. Back then, there used to be, I think, a majority population of Christians. The decline of the Christian population in Bethlehem was not when Israel had rule over Bethlehem. It began and has continued continuously since the Palestinian Authority and the Muslims were given control of Bethlehem.
It's amazing here how they always twist it into a position in which if you deny this, then you are hateful, you're against the Jewish people. That's how the definition is always twisted. The idea is not whether Jews have the right to exist, or even if Israel has the right to exist. I mean, that's not even a question. Do states have the right to exist? The question is whether Israel has the right to exist above the international law as an apartheid state. The question is not whether Jews have the right to exist. The question is whether Jews have the right to exist on someone else's land by displacing them. The question is not about Jewish safety. And by the way, why can't Jews be safe in Arkansas? Why does it always have to fall on our shoulders as if it's only our responsibility, Palestinians, to give space of our land, our towns, our history, our identity, so that Jews can be safe? Yes, I want Jews to be safe. Jewish safety is the problem of the European West, who massacred 6 million Jews. They should be blamed. They should be the one who are lectured, not Palestinians. So notice how this definition of Zionism always pushes you as if in a corner, in which if you don't endorse this, then you're a bad person. And it distorts the definition, the reality of Zionism, because Zionism is about establishing a home for the Jewish people, a Jewish state, an exclusive state, on someone else's land. That's the problem. What does that mean? Ask the early Zionists. They called it transfer. Palestinians have to go. Zionist historians and scholars go as far as having to justify and defend ethnic cleansing as a historical necessity, because they are consistent in their Zionism, because they realize that Zionism cannot exist unless you get rid of the Palestinians. So the problem is not as if we don't accept the right of Jews to live safe. The problem is we don't want to pay the price by having 800,000 of our people, including Palestinian Christians, forcibly displaced from the land. Israel was literally established on the ruins of our towns and villages. And let me say this, because I've heard different concepts of Zionism. Some talk about the peaceful Zionism, the left Zionism, the peace camp, the Zionism that believes in coexistence. Some, try to imagine a Zionism in which, there is room for the two of us. I want to have room for the two of us. But Zionism, by definition, excludes that possibility, by definition. And I'm tired of having to deal with what I call a mythical Zionism. Zionism doesn't. The real Zionism, from the perspective of Palestinians on the receiving end of Zionism, is the Zionism of ethnic cleansing, the Zionism of the Nakba, the Palestinian catastrophe, the Zionism that imposed a military occupation on us, the Zionism that today exercises a policy of, or a system of apartheid. Not my word, not my studies, the studies of the international community, it's a consensus now. And the Zionism that committed a genocide in Gaza. That's the Zionism we deal with. The Zionism of Ben Gvir and Smotrich, that is mainstream. That is what Zionism is. I think Smotrich and Ben Gvir are just honest, are transparent. They don't try to hide. They don't deny. And even Netanyahu no longer bothers saying there will never be a Palestinian state. And to me, a Christian Zionist is a Christian who supports all of the above.
And it has gone down seriously. I think it's only like 12%. They are a persecuted minority in Bethlehem by the Muslims. Israel has no control over Bethlehem since 1993, 1994. That's when the decline began. Tucker Carlson is blatantly lying to Christians in his agenda to drive a wedge and hatred between Christians and Jews, instead of telling the truth, which is that it's the Christians in Bethlehem being persecuted by Muslims. Tucker Carlson is leading Christians to be blind, because just as they're being persecuted by Muslims in Bethlehem, and the population in Bethlehem has gone down because of that persecution by Muslims, they are going to be persecuted in Dearborn, Michigan, in Paterson, New Jersey, in New York City, in Texas, in Florida, where mosques are popping up like mushrooms, and they are taking over one city council after another city council, and one educational board after another educational board, and Americans and American Christians are asleep at the wheel, and you're being told to focus on Israel as the enemy, while this jihadi Muslim is literally taking over one city at a time in America, and they are going to be persecuting you in America if you continue to believe Tucker Carlson's lies.